right? We're gonna basically help you understand, right, how penalty points work, what you do with them when you get them, what is the process that goes into, right, penalties, right? I'm sure many of you do want to find out like what the best tips and strategies to go about. So we're going to cover 5 different areas here. First off, like what is the seller penalty point system, then NFR, then late shipment rate, listing violation, and then of course customer service violation as well, right? So there are basically 5 topics that we will be going into today. With that, guys, let's kick it off with the first one here, which is what is the seller penalty point system. So the seller penalty point system, right, has actually been devised by Shopee, okay, because they want to kind of maintain the quality of sellers that are actually selling here. So they don't want people to be fraud sellers. They don't want people to cheat buyers and things like that. So that's when they started the penalty point system, right? It's basically to actually make the seller become more of a quality-based seller than just like any type of seller, right? So one of basically the things that we also want to kind of notice, right, is that we actually penalize sellers. We also award sellers, right? So of course, award them is they become preferred sellers. They basically upgrade, right? They don't stay in that same element as they once was anymore, right? So they basically upgrade to a better, I would say, level in their seller's journey, right? Now, one of the main key things also is this, right? Where if you want to kind of understand penalties, they don't actually last forever, right? Some people have this idea that, oh, penalties will last forever. No, penalties last for a certain period of time, right? And after which these penalties actually go on to stop. So the first Monday of every quarter, penalties reset back to 0. Mm-hmm. Yes, so penalties don't stay with you forever. Okay, penalties actually, once they kind of, are finished or done with, right? After the quarter, they kind of reset back to 0, right? So that anyone else won't be able to basically see that, right? So that's exactly how that works. Now, the other thing also to take note is this, guys, right? The penalties have a tier. What is a tier? A tier is level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. Yes, Shopee has tiers. Why? Because we want to actually rank sellers' penalties because it's going to be much easier for us. So in the long run, right, you'll notice that there are some sellers that kind of follow the rules and some that might not actually follow the rules. So what Shopee needs to do is they need to suss out which are the sellers that are actually kind of getting better, right? And that's important, right? So one of the key ways that Shopee does this, right, and you can actually tell, which is they basically set it from the first one. So the first thing that you're going to see is this, the ban for marketing campaigns. Okay, so yes, Shopee will actually ban you from marketing campaigns the minute you get 3 points. Okay, so it's no joke. When you get 3 points, they ban you from marketing campaigns. Now, on the other hand, if you're unlucky and you still don't change anything, of course the points start to kind of grow on you, they snowball. Now once they start to get even more severe, you get 6 points, example, you enter something known as the tier 2. Tier 2 is not nice either, it's worse because they'll add on more things that kind of slow you down. They'll remove free shipping and they'll deboost moderately some listings. So you'll just see some listings not there anymore. Okay. And excuse me. If you continue and you get 9 points, now you move into tier 3, right? Now, tier 3, right? They'll ban you from campaigns, they'll remove free shipping, but on a severe level, they'll take away your listing. So that is kind of also quite bad, right? Because now you're actually faced with a couple of even more things, right? That's going to be bad for your store. So you definitely, right, want to kind of see, okay, once you're actually faced with these things, what should you do, right? So pretty much what you want to do, guys, is you want to make sure that you guys are not actually accumulating penalty points, because if you go up to 12 and 15, you can clearly see what's going to happen to your account. Obviously, once you get 15, right, Shopee will block your account, freeze your account, right? There's nothing you can do after that. You need to appeal, and it's going to take a while, and all that effort that you've poured into starting your shop is just gone. Okay, so you want to take this seriously. The next one, guys, is the seller A example. So let's just say a seller's issued 3 points, right, on week 3. Now, if let's say, right, they get that, they just get tier 1's punishment, which is marketing campaigns for 28 days, right? And after that, they go back to normal again. Now, what if they get 3 points at week 3, but then at week 5, they get another 3 points? Now, this actually extends. It does not only extend, right, but it also adds on. So this is why getting penalty points is not a joke. It can really affect your store badly. And imagine you're a fast running, or you're a car, you're running, you're like 100 kilometer per hour speed, and suddenly you're just getting slower because Shopee is slapping you with all these fines. Eventually, you just run at 10 kilometers per hour, and eventually you can't run anymore. Shopee will just take you off the race. Okay, so you want to be very, very careful when you're actually getting penalties, right? And also, guys, yes, we also have one of my colleagues here, Atika here, guys. If you have any questions, just post them into the question tab, right? And she'll actually help out in the question section. Now, also, guys, Shopee focuses on 2 metrics. What are the 2 metrics? The first one is NFR. The second one is LSR. What do they stand for? Non Fullfilment Rate. That's your cancellation plus your return. Now, Late Shipment Rate is the second one. So these 2 things, if you can maintain them to a satisfactory level, right, you wouldn't get in trouble. Most of the penalties come from this side, yeah? So if you can maintain them to a good score, you should be okay. So let's look at the first one, NFR. Okay, what is NFR about? Just imagine you're selling and you get lots of cancellations, lots of return refunds. Obviously, you're going to be thinking, okay, so what do I do now? Now, Shopee gives you a threshold, right? A threshold means you can go up to 10%, right? Anything more than 10%, then of course you are kind of going to get 1 to 2 points, right? So I'm going to give you an example. Here you can see 250 orders. You get 40 non-fulfilled orders. So out of the 40, you get basically returns, cancellations, right? You combine them, you got 40. So you take the cancellations and the returns, you divide it by a total number of orders, right? Now, within the last 30 days, you'll notice that, right? You will see that, hey, your NFR, right, is got a percentage. Now, you go back to the chart here. If that percentage is more than 10%, you already are eligible for a point. But if it is more, if it's 30 or less than 30, it's 1 point. If it is 30 or more, you get 2 points. So in this scenario, obviously you get 2 points, right? Now, what are the causes of NFR? Usually it is cancellations and returns, right? But there are kind of a few reasons. First one is no stock, okay? You didn't have enough stock. Of course, the buyer doesn't want to wait, they'll cancel. Or the system cancels you because you've not been responding to the buyer for 7 days straight, right? Or you didn't click, to ship inside your account, so the system will cancel it as well. Or the item was not received by the buyer. This is a very tricky one, right? But it does happen as well, right? So you want to be very careful, guys, right, when we actually do this, because right, many of our buyers have complained they've not received the item, or the wrong item was sent to them, or the item was damaged. So these are just a few things that they feel like, hey, man, I ordered A, I'm getting something, I'm getting B, it's not what I want. Things like that do happen. Right? So one of the other things here, guys, is this. How do we avoid these out of stocks? Right? So the first one, guys, is basically you want to reduce that by having ample stock. You want to turn on your vacation mode when you're away, right? And you want to ship your orders on time, right? And pack the right products, please, okay? And check for your defects before you pack. So have a good QC, right? And your descriptions need to be accurate. Okay, these are very important things. Now, another thing that I just want to share with you is that weekends and weekdays, right? If you tend to actually pack weekends, they tend to actually give you better results. Now, again, this is very subjective. It's not to say that, oh, if you pack on weekends, it means, it is going to basically be, immediately, very like your sales is going to shoot up to the roof. No, it's not to say that. It's basically, right? It's basically to just say that, hey, if, you were to do this, you have a better chance, right, of this actually improving and increasing. Okay, right? Now, once that is done, right, guys, the next thing here is, guys, right, sellers who pack orders for 7 days a week, have a conversion rate of 20% higher usually. Again, this is subjective. I'm not saying you should do this. I'm saying these are what the numbers show us, but definitely you'll see some significant increase. I mean, obviously, if you were to realize that, the more numbers you put in, obviously the more numbers come out. That's just the way that it is in Shopee. So just to share this with you. Now, late shipment rates. What are late shipment rates? Late shipment rates pretty much means when you are actually going to ship a product, you miss the 2-day timeline, the default timeline. So many people don't know this. They think, oh, I get an order already, so maybe I can just chill and wait, and when I'm free, I pack. No. So Shopee gives you by default 2 days, unless you have manually manipulated the timeline, which you can. You can change the 2 days default to 5 days, 4 days, whatever you want. It's fine. Whatever X number of days that you have set, besides the Shopee 2-day default, needs to be honored and followed with. Okay, so give you an example. Let's just use the Shopee default 2 days. Yeah, so 200 orders, 50 orders of yours did not follow the 2-day period. Okay, so Shopee will track that as late shipped. Now, if it's 15%, how do you get 15%? You take the late orders, you divide it by the total orders, you get a percentage. If that percentage is more than 15% or 15%, you will be eligible to get penalties already. Then Shopee will say, okay, less than 51 point, 50 or more, 2 points, right? So, oops. So then you will basically need to realize that, hey, you need to basically not be late again. Now, there are a few reasons for this. Out of stock. When you have no stock, right, this seems to be like quite a reason as well, right, guys? So do take note of that as well, right? And if you realize, guys, insufficient manpower to pick and pack orders, well, now with the COVID, the declaration of MCO has already been lifted, right? You'll find that it's probably easier to get workforce, right? I mean, it's going to be much easier, so you can actually get a lot of workforce coming in. And with these workforce, basically, guys, you can get them to pack your orders now, right? Also, your forecasting needs to be done on a higher level, meaning to say that if you guys want to actually do this forecasting, make sure right, guys, that you know what you're doing, right? It's not just something that you just kind of, play by ear. Well, you can play by ear, but we wouldn't suggest that, right? On Shopee, we always suggest you to go with the numbers. So you kind of need to know, okay, what the numbers are, you're forecasting, you can kind of figure it out as you keep selling on Shopee usually. So also, guys, look into the order management process, and also if sellers are away on leave, this tends to happen. So what do we recommend? We recommend you have ample stocks, hire enough people, do good forecasting, prioritize FIFO, first in, first out, right? And turn on vacation mode when you cannot call. These 5 things, right? So listing violations. Now, listing violations here is another way that sellers actually get into trouble and they get penalties. So what actually happens? So many times, right, a lot of sellers, what actually typically happens is they kind of post ads, okay, or they put spam content, or they sell fake goods, counterfeit. Shopee does not take light to these things, okay? They can give you 1 point for each of these. So I'll give you an example. You see the first example here. There are some sellers, they post things like drop ship and all that. You know what I mean? So Shopee doesn't like these things, right? Shopee kind of is against these type of things from happening. So you need to kind of be very careful when we are posting anything. You cannot advertise your service or your company, okay? The second one is listings that are being switched. So there are some sellers, they like to play this dirty game where they see a product doing very well, so they'll kind of switch this product, okay? Maybe they cannot get stock for the product anymore, and they don't want to lose sales, right? So they take another image and they switch that image and they change the name of the product. But the poor buyer that comes in thinks, wow, 500 sold? Wow, this is a very good product, I want to buy. This is basically fraudulent already, right? You're cheating. You can't do this. The next one is misleading discount. Now, I want to kind of like really be very thorough here. Misleading discount is different from discount changing practices. Okay, so if let's say the government announces today, semua harga beras akan turun 15%, go down by 15%, right? Our government says that. Then what do? You have the eligibility to reduce the price of that particular beras, right? But if the price of this particular beras is, let's say, at the market rate, and you are doing things like today 50 ringgit, tomorrow 70 ringgit, day after 210 ringgit, this Shopee will crack down on you and penalize you, okay? Now, prohibited items, obviously, you cannot sell drugs, stocks, you can't sell tobacco, yeah? And basically, you also cannot sell wildlife products like exotic lizards and all that. You can't actually sell, and of course, weapons you cannot, okay? Now, there is another thing also that Shopee does actually take very strictly, which is the Ipr infringement, which means that, brand or IPR owners can file complaints now, yeah? So after effective September 2021, right, if let's just assume you're selling Adidas shoes, your Adidas shoes are basically fake, or your Adidas shoes are from an unauthorized seller, or supplier. So Adidas, the big company, right, if they were to file this, your store will be taken action against, right? So guys, this is very, very serious now. In the past, we kind of just turned a blind eye, I would say. It's not like that any longer, right? Nowadays, guys, if anyone does this, right, obviously, right, this will basically be quite, kind of dangerous. Okay, so you don't want to kind of like play with fire as well. Anyone, I would definitely recommend nobody actually, try to get into that. The next one is counterfeit listing. So if you sell fake goods, as I said, right, Shopee will crack down on you. So if you're a preferred or a mall seller, and if the buyer says this is fake, right, immediately you need to refund them 100%. Okay, this is 100% borne by you. So again, if you're preferred seller, you must give back money back guarantee, and we will remove your preferred or preferred seller status immediately, effective immediately, right? This is if you are preferred sellers. Okay, now copied listings is another thing that Shopee is cracking down on as well, where you may have seen this. There'll be some sellers who go to your page, copy all your products, your image, even your watermark, also the filler copies, and he puts it under his store. Very silly, I know. Now, if sellers do that, right, other sellers do that to you, Shopee will penalize them already now. Okay, last time we just let go, but now no more. Now we crack down. So spamming is another big offense that Shopee hates, which is you duplicate the same product many times, okay? Or you put in keyword spam on some of your products, like you just use multiple keywords. You cannot do that. And you attribute section spam as well, where you use all the brands. I've seen this before. Like they put Nike, Adidas, Puma, Reebok. They put all these brands there when the shoe is just Nike. Like, why would they do that? Simply because they're trying to get a lot of traffic. But Shopee will know now. Okay. Also, junk or vulgarity. I've seen less of this now, very less. But compared to 3.5 years ago, but now I think people don't really come to Shopee to do this as much. You will find one or two people doing it, but it's a lot of work to actually go ahead and do this. Okay, you got to set up your account, blah blah blah. Maybe back when people were very free, I don't know, but nowadays we see less of this. And customer service violation. Okay, now customer service is another way that you can get penalties. How? You cannot be rude or abusive on your chat, and you cannot ask your buyer to cancel. Anytime asking a buyer to cancel is a penalty. Okay, even if you don't have stock, no choice. Okay, you must wait for the buyer to cancel on their own accord, right? If you don't have the stock, guys, and obviously either way you're gonna get a penalty anyway. If you ask them to cancel, you get penalty, or they wait maybe 4 or 5 days. Of course, they'll be very very pissed, but anyway you still get 2 points, so it doesn't make a difference. So another one is fake return address. Okay, you cannot put fake return addresses. Okay, this one Shopee will also give you 2 points if we investigate and we find that the buyer's putting a return and say, hey, how come this product has not been received? So that's another one. And we have fraud, false transaction. This one, right, basically, true story. I still have a friend. Well, he's actually in the TV category. And this is what happened. Basically, a TV store, right, who he was managing, actually subsequently bought up all the TVs on Shopee, right, using the vouchers that Shopee had given him, which was supposed to be to his buyers, but instead he bought it back to make a quick profit. But we actually found out, right, we kind of rechecked the address, the credit card, everything's the same. So yes, guys, do not do this. Okay, Shopee doesn't like fraud, false transactions as well. Okay, now when we do this, guys, this is the next one here I want to kind of talk about, where people have been complaining of, do they order, okay, for example, they order a box of soap, then they get an empty box. Okay, this is something that has been happening for quite a bit now, and I'm going to share with you a real true story, okay, that actually happened. And this is my first year at Shopee. I was really shocked. So somebody ordered an iPhone. I think it was iPhone 10 or iPhone 11, I can't remember. And inside the box, there was a slab of cement. Okay, the box was iPhone, like the original iPhone box, but inside was a block of cement. Now, the seller got away with it because this seller is not an ordinary seller. The seller actually weighed the cement, okay, to be the exact same weight as of any iPhone 10, right? Now, pretty much, guys, this is fake and fraud, okay? You can't do this, okay? because I remember the buyer took to Facebook to post this, right? I think she went to file a police report or something like that, right? And of course, I think our team had to step in to kind of solve the issue later on, right? The category manager had to go. But end of the day, right, guys, of course, Shopee had to reimburse the buyer and everything, but we basically blacklisted that seller, right? And anything and everything to do, we find that person actually, he set up a few other accounts, we blacklisted them completely. They're like on a super blacklist, so they cannot do anything. So these are just some of the things that happen. Okay, another one is shipping fraud. Okay, so if you do shipping fraud, this is called shipping fraud. You can get 3 to 6 points, okay, and even an account freeze. Okay, so this is very bad. Now, social selling policy, guys, you cannot actually promote things with harsh, basically content. Okay, and you cannot basically sell prohibited items as well. These things are very serious, right? So we do not actually allow this as well. Now, penalty point summary here, we're kind of just going to sum up here. So you've seen the fulfillment, the listing, and the customer service sections, right? We've already shown you, and these slides will be shared with you at the end, yeah? Don't worry later. So you now know that, hey, these are the things that I should not be doing and I cannot be even attempting to even try, okay? Now, again, I will share with you, this tier, so you can roughly refer to this in the event you have gotten 1 or 2 points from any of these basically penalties. You can refer to them, right? Now, where to check if you get penalized? So this is the main thing. Everybody at some point gets penalized. This is not something out of the ordinary. Yeah? Everyone eventually will get 1 or 2 points. This is not like rocket science, like, oh my God, I got it happens. Okay, it actually happens. Okay, people get penalized, and that's just the way that it is. So what you want to kind of see is here is go to account health to actually check, right? Going to account health, right? From here, you can assess your penalty points. Check to see if it's 0, you're good. If it's not 0, guys, that means you got a penalty, and you need to work on amending this or editing this, right? It's a problem. So clicking view details will kind of show you where you're at, what to do. So here, there are 2 things that you can do. 1, you can send an appeal to Shopee. 2, you can find a solution and self-fix the problem, right? Obviously, depending on whose fault it is. If you think that it is your fault, like you shipped the product that was broken or was not QC'd, of course, you need to step up and basically rise to the challenge, right? But if, let's say, you feel that you QC the product, example, and then you realize the logistics company broke it, then you appeal, right? That's just an example. Now, guys, we're actually going to take you to the Kahoot challenge. Now, I need to announce this first. Many of you don't know this. Now, Shopee is going to award you. Now, guys, pay careful attention to what I'm about to announce. If you were to basically win the Kahoot quiz, right, Shopee, okay, is going to actually, okay, are you listening? Okay, basically give you free ad credits. Okay, you heard me, right? I hope you heard me. We will give you free ad credits if you manage to win the Kahoot quiz. Again, this is up to you if you want to play the Kahoot quiz, right? Yes, Shopee will give you monthly ad, basically for a month. So basically, it's going to be around 200 ringgit, okay? And 10 selected participants who have scored the highest, right, will get, but usually it's 20 ringgit per winner. They'll just give you that straight up, right? So you'll be selected out of all the top scorers at random, okay? So, but you'll be in the pool and in the running to win this, okay? So the winners in November will be contacted in December to get their prize, okay? So with that, guys, I am going to actually share screen, and we're going to go right now into the Kahoot challenge. I hope you're ready, right? I'm going to share screen right now. Okay, here we go. Right? All the best, guys, for getting